Broadcasting live from...
You mean podcasting, right?
Actually, I kind of like that. Let's do it. Podcasting live
And lit.
from the weed-smoking studios of WSRadio.com. We're only 20 minutes away from 420, and you know what that means. It's time for the wide world of weed. This exclusive podcast was created by the Dreammaker and the real Sammy C and streams weekly each and every Saturday afternoon right here on WS Radio. And now, two dudes who will never bogart a joint because they believe in peace, love, equality, staying high and happy. It's your pot jockeys, Green Weaver and Night Tripper. Yeah, you know it, baby. This is Green on this side, and on the other side of the glass, it's the one and only Night Tripper. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Green?
Man, I couldn't be better. Because I am super high right now. I'm just flying, man. I'll talk about that in a second, but let me get this music dropped down a little and invite all our listeners to another episode of The Wide World of Weed in association with Dreammaker and Stay High Productions. We're here each and every Saturday from 4 to 5. Try to make this the best show we've done so far. As a matter of fact, that's going to be my objective each and every week, to make a more compelling, more interesting, more important show each and every week. And in the very near future, we're going to be incorporating some music into the show, including original songs that we write and sing, and including some records that we really dig. And we'll also be including a news report, a medical report, a couple reviews, a bud tender interview. What else? Some contests.
I got some pot news for you when you got a chance for me to slip it in.
Well, you know what? Why don't we do some news right now? You can let me know what you just found out in the last couple days, and I'd love to know.
Number one, Joe Rogan, right?
I kind of dig the guy. He's kind of a funny sitcom actor turned talk show host, kind of macho acting, political talking,
stoner.
But kind of stoner, but kind of alcoholic stoner a little
bit,
and kind of like an angry dude. Sometimes, and sometimes really happy.
Yeah.
And he's a confusing dude.
He's a mix of a million things. Anyway, I like him generally, but he recently...
Because he's cool with pot. That's the main reason I like him.
One of his recent shows, he started talking smack about pot.
What?
About recreational pot.
Are you serious? Yeah, that shocks me, man.
Well, the reason was he had an author on his show who was anti-pot, just some idiot.
Well, that makes no sense. Well, you're just whoever's on your show, you're just going to agree with them 100%?
Yeah, I don't get it.
I'm a member of the Ku Klux Klan, and I'm a guest on your show. Okay, I now believe in white supremacy. What? That's crazy talk.
Well, I think
Joe Rogan's mixed up in the head.
Sometimes he gets mixed up, but he was more like not really putting it down completely, more like saying, oh, yeah, I was one of the guys who went along with, everything about pot is good,
Right.
And he was trying to make it sound like, now he's more balanced and rational thinking.
Yeah, but then he kind of forces that, in that weird, tricky way, push that joint on Elon Musk. For what reason?
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
And that just made Elon look, number one, nerdy and dorky and like an idiot, and it did nothing good for Elon Musk's
made him look
image.
like a liar.
Well, like a liar and like just like an idiot and like just a mixed up guy. It's like
he's all, oh yeah, I've tried this before. No, nobody says that.
Exactly, except people like me a couple of years ago.
No, what it was I think I've tried that before. That's what he said. Nobody talks that way.
But you remember that. My story, and as a matter of fact, most listeners probably don't know it yet, because if we were lucky, maybe we had 100 people listening to the first episode a couple of weeks ago, and hopefully it's growing. You're telling your friends about it, and you're letting everyone know via whether you use Facebook or Twitter or whatever platform you use. Send out an email blast to all your friends. Let them know about the wide world of weed. We do that here each and every Saturday from 4 to 5 on WSRadio.com. And we're going to have contests such as the Code 420 coming up at 4:20. But you know what? Because we're not quite ready for that, I'm not going to do a contest today and probably not even next week. But in the next couple weeks, as soon as we get all the pieces put together in this jigsaw puzzle known as the Wide World of Weed, and also keep in mind there's a YouTube channel that goes along with our radio podcast, and it's known as the Wild World of Weed. And as a matter of fact, I need to rename the channel. The channel is currently named Green's World. So if you go to Green's World, you'll find only one video that I just uploaded last week. And but you can go check that out. You can see what Green looks like and kind of how he acts behind the microphone. As a matter of fact, I'm on camera right now. And let me move the camera over here, or move my microphone over here. And I'm taping this podcast for the Wild World of Weed also. And that's our YouTube channel where, you know what, Knight and I, we've gotten together like once in a while, like Saturday night or a Friday afternoon or whatever, maybe to play a game of chess, or maybe just talk music, or maybe even play the guitar and make up songs. But we always start these the afternoon or the evening off with like a nice stoner session, you know. And of course, we're only part-time stoners, and that's an important thing that you need to know about us here in this community known as the Wild and the Wide World of Weed on WSRadio.com. We all get high, and we all get high semi-often, but we don't feel as if it's hurt our lives in any shape, form, or fashion. And as a matter of fact, it's done quite the opposite. My personal story is at the age of 55, I had never tried marijuana a single time in my life. Never tried any kind of drug, obviously. If I'm not going to do pot as a kid, or as a college-age kid, or as a guy working in radio through his entire 20s and 30s, and then working in clubs. You know, it's amazing that I worked in radio and nightclubs for like most of my career, and for some reason I never stumbled across I never crossed paths with someone that was doing cocaine or just all those really bad addictive drugs. But at the same time, no one ever talked about pot with me for some reason, and I guess they just thought I was so square that I wouldn't be able to relate. And the sad thing is, I think that if I had been given a chance, and if someone intelligent had come up to me, and if it had been illegal in the first place, I guess that would have made all the difference. But if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Green, you know what? You're 22 years old. You seem like you have a pretty good life. You seem pretty happy. Do you get high? You know, is that why you seem happy all the time?" And I would say, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." And I'd probably argue with them. I don't need to get high. I feel high all the time. And that's kind of true. I kind of was that way in my teens and 20s. But I think if I had known about marijuana, I think I could have enhanced my life even further. And so I don't care how old you are, if you're 24, or if you're 62, or if you're 81. It doesn't really matter. You need to try some pot. You need to smoke some marijuana. You need to experience it, but you need to do it properly. You need to do it cautiously. And by cautiously, what I mean to say is have a plan and stick to the plan. And here's a super simple plan for any beginner or any rookie. This is exactly how you should handle your marijuana consumption for the first week or two. Go to your favorite dispensary. I don't know if it's a Mankind Cooperative in the Miramar area, or if it's a MedMen on Convoy. They have an awesome location here in San Diego. Or maybe it's SDRC. They got a huge location with tons of parking and cool people there as well. And of course, there's the Outliers. They got a location in El Cajon and a really nice, really cool, man, you got to check that out, night. The Outliers. As a matter of fact, maybe, did you go in that one time? And
yeah,
it was kind of a really cool drive, and then the driveway looked like a Godfather movie or something.
That's near the border, right?
No. That was in Valley Center.
Oh, okay.
We went to an Outliers.
Oh, okay.
You know, you weren't able to go in because you don't have your medical card yet, and this is for medical patients only. And maybe you didn't go with me. Maybe I'm so stoned that I'm remembering. My imagination is getting so creative that I'm creating my own storyline.
No, I might have gone with you, and then I sat out in the car while you went in and bought some edibles.
Right. I think that's exactly what happened. And, speaking of going to dispensaries, and I forgot what I was just talking about because I'm so high, but I do want to talk about that on this episode. This will be Greenweaver's Super High episode number 1 and Wide World of Weed episode number 4, maybe? Does that sound about right? We've done about 4 of these?
Actually, the third.
Are you sure?
There were 2 pilots and then 3 real shows.
Oh, so you're not counting the pilots then? Okay. So counting the pilots, is this number 5?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll always count the pilots because they existed in some shape or form. Anyway, I'm going to have a bite of salad right now. I got the munchies big time because I tell you what happened to me today. I decided I want to get super high for a Saturday afternoon hanging out with my friends here on WSRadio.com. You know, we're known as the Weed Smoking Radio, and we broadcast live and lit from the Weed Smoking Studios. And excuse me while I munch on a bite of salad. Good stuff. What's that song called? Is that a jam you're making up right off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's just
some blues, old blues.
Experimental jam. That's all I ever do, man.
I just felt like I was transported back in time to like the 1930s. I don't know where. Southwest of somewhere. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. It sounded like it was an important line of stuff, and then I just kind of warped into just being kind of tripped out.
Well, getting back to Joe Rogan, man.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
That dude has no place saying this crap about how pot. He didn't really think out pot completely. It's like we already know, that you're not supposed to overdo it with certain things, and you're not supposed to freaking pick the wrong strain and keep buying that same wrong strain. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to learn from testing strains.
Right. And that's important, actually. That's a great subject, a great topic.
Yeah. But the point is he tried to steamroll over all that and act like, oh, yeah, man, I was telling friends, yeah, you should just get high, man. And it's not always, it wasn't always good for people. Sometimes they'd trip out. They'd have a freak out session and they'd get all scared. And so he's blaming himself for acting too persuasive about pot, when the fact is we all have the common sense. The smart users know not to overdo it, and they know to pick strains so that they're comfortable with whatever they use.
But we're speaking. I'm trying to speak to a lot of the newbies because I want to turn more people on to this world because I'm so new to it, and I feel like it's a crime that it is not more socially acceptable, and it's a crime that it hasn't been legal for the last 100 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying about Joe Rogan. Like that, he normally is the top cheerleader for weed on both the medical and recreational side.
And legal side, too, and probably everything.
But for this one interview, he acted all old world.
That's because he's a phony, a fraud. Whoever will pay him the most that week is who he's kind of like Rush Limbaugh. But even though Rush is 99.9% of the time in that certain corral that he lives in. But he's not really. He's only there because of money.
Silly putty that can be shaped in any way you want.
And that's a cruel concept.
There's one other pot story I think is relevant this week that we should talk about.
Okay.
And that is that there was a massive study, and there usually aren't big studies on marijuana, partly because it's still in Schedule 1, so it's illegal to research. But there was a recent big study of 800,000 high school students across America. The study was published in the American Journal of Drug and Alcohol Abuse, and they found that legalizing medicinal marijuana has led to a drop in cannabis use among teens.
Wow.
What do you think about that? That no longer is it this peer pressure thing, that it's more like, it's looked upon more as medicine, is what it seems like.
And that's the way it should be. I mean, it's just like common sense, to me at least, now that I know, now that the truth's been revealed to me.
Yeah, I mean, we've been lied to so much about marijuana that a lot of people just don't know the truth, but it's simple to figure out. If you just tune out the negatives, then you end up learning a lot more about it.
Right, and then do some research. And you know what? Actually, this show could be a great little platform for that type of research to help people out that don't have a clue. And as a matter of fact, I want to talk about, if you don't mind, can I talk about how I got introduced to pot and I think why it worked for me so well?
Sure.
I wanted to smoke pot, believe it or not, probably in the late 70s, 79, 80, or that era. Music was so good on the radio at the time, and life was just so electric, and just Beatles songs were just blowing me away, and listening to Revolver album, Rubber Soul, and all those albums. And that music just fueled like some almost primitive urge in me to like, somehow I know that this has something to do with pot. I don't know why or what, but marijuana has something to do with this music, and I can feel the ganja vibe, or I can feel something in these certain songs. You know, maybe just the groove, or maybe just the textures, just way too complicated. But anyway, so I wanted to be a pot smoker back even in the late 70s, early 80s, but I held off because all I heard from every single source, from the left, from the right, from the front, from the back, from straight up, from the past, from the future, from teachers to preachers, from friends to frenemies, from devils to demons, from angels to Hendrix songs, from Beatles songs to, you know what I'm saying. I think, don't you?
Of course.
You know what, man? We got a break coming up in about 10 minutes. We should get high. I don't really need to get high, any higher than I am right now, but yes, earlier today, and the reason I am high, let me explain, and I'll even show it on camera. You know, you're not going to be able to see this unless you go to our YouTube channel known as The Wild World of Weed. And that's our YouTube channel, Wild World of Weed, in association with this WS Radio platform show known as The Wide World of Weed. But I had about half a bag of these. They're on camera. Wow. THC-infused crisps. With 300 milligrams of THC, so I had about 150 milligrams of this, and I believe these are hot. These are kind of the hot cheese sticks, so they're really spicy. But went through a bag of that, and then I went through half a bottle of this, and this all happened like around. And luckily, Night Tripper picked me up, drove me into work today because I should absolutely not be driving for at least another 5 hours. But half a bottle of this Malverde Aqua Fresca Mango, 125 milligrams of THC in this bottle. So I had half of that. And I'm going to save the other half for tomorrow and make it a super fun weekend. But this is what I'm holding up in the air now. And as a matter of fact, I'll give you a quick look at what's his name, Night Tripper, as he's playing the guitar on the other side. And you can see a real quick look into that studio and a quick look around part of the WS Radio facilities. Okay, the camera's back on me now. And this is a $12 pre-roll I'm holding in front of the camera, and I'm going to hold it up to Night. And if you want to head in here now, and we can make the next 5 minutes just hitting on this joint. So, as a matter of fact, if you want to get the Dream Maker. If the Dream Maker,
I'll try to track him down.
He might be in that room over there. Just ask him if he wants to come in for a couple hits of premium, a pre-roll.
All right.
And it's
cool.
So I'll talk while you're gone. All right, this is what's his name? Greenweaver and Dream Maker and Night Tripper. And I'm so stoned now I can't even remember my name. And I'm gonna have a couple hits off this pre-roll when my two friends pop into the studio. Let me get the lighter ready. Okay, there's the lighter. Okay.
I don't think they're here anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, no problem. Well, then you can get right over here on this side of me.
All right.
And look how thick that keef is. A coat of keef on this joint. You're going to light it up.
Right on.
And
so
breathe through this.
Some of the cool people sold this to you, right?
Yeah. A dispensary in Valley Center. Want to say hello to Romy and also Marty, two really very fine bud tenders, very knowledgeable, very sweet, and I'm looking forward to hitting on this.
They've always had good stuff.
Yeah, at great prices too.
I noticed that not every single dispensary is a utopian moment. Like some dispensaries try to actually sell fake weed, like mixed in.
For some reason, it's not hitting yet. I've not smoked.
I'm talking about fake weed.
No. It's just it needs to. I think the cone needs to be broken through with a little more heat.
All right, doing it reefer style.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Had a mega hit.
Wow, it's
Oh.
powerful stuff. This is a hybrid blend, premium, and based on that one hit, I think I'm gonna have to agree. Excuse me. What am I doing?
Going back for more. Going for a flaming hit.
Wow.
This is the number one weed.
Why, that's...
Oh.
You know, I'm putting it out.
All right.
I think. Unless you want to have another
All right.
hit or two. But that's enough for me.
That's good.
Cool. Let me get this out.
Yeah, that's a super blunt.
All right, man. Well, I'm sure it'll be worth it, but that was rough.
All right, I'll go back and
Knight's heading back to the other studio. You heard the door open. He's heading back to pick his guitar up. He's going to take a seat, put his headphones on.
Cool, I'm back.
And, all right. And he's going to pick his guitar up probably. Or maybe not.
Why don't I?
We do have a break coming up in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
We've been meaning to write some pot songs, right?
well, we started writing a couple, and we need to write a couple more. We need to become the Weird Owls of pop songs. You know, just take a lot of classic songs and rewrite them with funny and funky reimagined pot lyrics.
Songs that paint pictures in the smoky mind.
Are you making up a song right now? And
It could be. It could be. I'm poetic. I feel like it. I still want to. I want to write the ultimate pot anthem someday.
You know what? That should be a mission. A marijuana mission.
What do you think the ultimate pot anthem is so far?
Well,
Smoke two joints.
Yeah, 2 joints. And I understand that song now because last week, for the first time in my life, I tried an experiment where I got super high every day. 7 days in a row. Super high, super high, super high, super high. I just pushed it every single day. And the last day, I went through like an entire 1/8 of marijuana in like one evening. I know that might not sound like a lot to some people, but, you know.
An 1/8 in one evening is a lot.
Yeah, well, especially for a rookie like me. Yeah. But I got really, really high. And I don't know if you like those highs, or maybe sometimes Or maybe never.
I don't like
But I
to
love
overdo
those
it.
highs.
I don't like to just smoke a whole bag in one day. That to me is a waste.
Well, you know what? I'll agree with you that, and then since you're a lot thinner than me, in fact, we're the complete opposite. I'm about 120 pounds overweight, and Knight's probably about 30 to 40 pounds underweight. So he's like the one, and I'm like the O in the Laurel and Hardy picture show. But what was I just talking about?
About how pot's taking over. About
we
need pot anthems to open up people's minds better.
Absolutely. But that should be one of our show projects, definitely, to rewrite and re-record novelty type pot anthems with positive messages and cool, just a cool vibe.
We need to fix all the damage that the brainwashers caused last century, because they tricked a lot of people.
Right.
They tricked people thinking pot is evil.
Me, I was a big time one of those people that believed that pot was very evil and nothing but trouble.
It could ruin your life.
When it's actually doing the opposite for me right now. Ever since I discovered pot, my life has gotten better, like 5%. Well, maybe not 5% every month, but at least 2% to 3% better every month, with a couple months where I had a 5% increase in the quality of my life. And it's even going to start improving my financial life, hopefully, because, I don't know, I just want to start maybe a mobile DJ company and start getting out in the world again and playing tunes for people and using this platform to help promote it. Right here again, this is The Wide World of Weed on WSRadio.com from the Weed Smoking Studios. We also present a YouTube channel known as The Wild World of Weed. It's hosted by me, Greenweaver, and of course on the guitar, the one and only Night Tripper. Yeah. And we're going to take a quick break and be back with more Stay High fun, babies. You just got to keep it right here. And while this music is playing, I do want to remind you, stay tuned, keep your ears open for something known as Groove 420. I'm going to talk about that at least once or twice a show, because I want you to know that Groove 420 is coming soon to WSRadio.com.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world without their smiles or their laughter. A world where children don't play or sing or dream or imagine.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we can't imagine a world without children. That's why we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children everywhere. Diseases like cancer, pediatric AIDS, and sickle cell. And we won't stop until every child is cured and every disease is defeated. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
You were born to do one amazing thing, but most people spend a lifetime trying to identify what it is. If you're in a job you don't like or are unemployed, if you're in a state of transition or just can't shake that nagging feeling that you were meant and made to do something extraordinary, then the Reinvention Workshop is exactly what you need. Led by award-winning self-help author Steve Olsher, the Reinvention Workshop will forever change your life. The Reinvention Workshop takes you step by step through Steve's proven formula that has helped so many people get on the right path and clear about what they were born to do. Take the first step to realizing the life you deserve and desire by visiting thereinventionworkshop.com today. No more delays. No more denial. Reconnect with your true self. Learn to live with purpose and conviction and become who you were born to be. The world is waiting for you. What are you waiting for? Log on to thereinventionworkshop.com today. That's thereinventionworkshop.com.
Oh yeah, pot buddies. Have another hit of sweet air as the wide world of weed continues with your pot jockeys, Green Weaver and Night Tripper on WSRadio.com. Oh yeah. Hey, this is the Green Weaver, or just Green, and on the other side of the room, it's the one and only Night Tripper. What's up, man?
Well, man, we were talking about songwriting and how pot should be an anthem in today's music, but it somehow is not really a big deal.
Not at all, actually. There's a very rare. Sorry, it's very rare that I hear a song that is popular.
Rappers sing about it, but that's more other.
Right.
It's not really the big hits, right?
Well, I don't know enough about rap music to know. I used to know rap, but the last 20 years I haven't cared about it that much.
It's gotten all corporate, super generic and corporatized. Same themes, same sounds,
and kind of just an angry.
Kind of like
downtrodden
corporate rock, same deal. Corporate,
I agree, man.
Alternative rock, whatever you want to call it. It's all cookie cutter. It's Big Biz decides.
But the indie scene, I'm telling you, there's something happening now in the indie world.
I love
some
indie
great
music.
Some great indie stuff, and some of it sounds better than even 80s hits or 90s hits. So I'm excited about these new bands I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about doing internet radio is, you could sidestep all that Billboard chart baloney and
create your own chart.
Yeah, focus on cooler music, just musical themes.
Exactly, man, because there is no art in radio anymore. There is no imagination. There's no creativity hardly. There's just a blank canvas that people just walked away from and let just get dirty over time, and no one touched it, and it's just an ugly mess.
You know why radio fell apart? Because it wasn't pot conscious enough.
Right.
You know why Apple became the number one company in the world? Because they were super pot conscious with Steve Jobs.
Right.
He was the
and even Wozniak.
Yeah.
But especially Jobs. But.
Yeah. Maybe even Tim Cook, who knows, but Apple was definitely a pot company, just like Apple Records that put out Beatles. They were a pot company.
They were the pot company of pot companies
that influenced Steve Jobs and Woz to come up with Apple Computer.
Right, and to smoke pot probably.
I think it was. I think their songs probably tricked them the way they tricked me. Like I thought Norwegian Wood was about pot, but it really wasn't.
But you know what? It might have actually been a little. I mean, John liked to tell different stories, but depending on his mood that day. Kind of like me. I like crafting stories.
But think about that, how pot changed the freaking world, man. Like with the hippie movement, and then you had Steve Jobs changing the whole computer movement. He made it so that he introduced personal computers.
Right.
So, I mean, that's
revolutionary.
Yeah, very revolutionary. So pot does pivot toward revolution.
Right on. Speaking of revolutions, I'm going to have another hit right now off this premium pre-roll because I want to get super buzzed. Oh, I need to use a towel. Got to blow that smoke through a towel. Sorry about that. I need experience. I'm new to pot. I'm also new to getting high on the air. This is only the second time in my entire career, in my entire life, that I've gotten high while on the air. And It should be a requirement from now on for every single show of the Wild World of Weed and the Wide World of Weed right here on WS Radio. Must get high. And as a matter of fact, must try to get as high as possible. Let me have another hit right now. That was good. Anyway, and also I want to talk about, I'm filming this on a old Galaxy Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Wow. This stuff is pretty potent. But it's also a little harsh. I'm also rushing it. But I'm starting to feel great. And again, I want to thank you for joining us on both our YouTube channel here known as The Wild World of Weed, and of course on our Saturday show from 4 to 5 each and every Saturday on WSRadio.com. It's me, Greenweaver, and of course Night Tripper over there on the guitar. He's going to say a couple words about something I'm sure has something to do with marijuana in some shape or form.
Yeah, marijuana is the opening to a new doorway to consciousness if you've never tried it before.
You know what? That's an awesome way to put it. Because it literally is that. Especially if you've never tried it before. Because I remember my first high back in mid-January 2018. At the age of 55, I, Greenweaver, using edibles for the first, 2 months, maybe 3 months. It was edibles only for me. And I would increase the dosage each and every week by about 10% just to keep up with that really good, that perfect feeling. But then I started realizing there was other ways to get high, and easy ways to get high, like the vape pen. So I invested in a couple of really nice vape pen holders. Like Sixth Sense has a really nice one, and I forgot the name of it. It's like a little matchbox-shaped unit, and I don't have it with me right now. Otherwise, I'd show you. But I vape. I still vape on a very regular basis, but I also like bongs a lot. As a matter of fact, bongs are my favorite by far.
I love bongs too.
Yeah, just over in every aspect of the potency of the high, the feel, and just the overall, the ease, and even with bubblers, I cough a lot with bubblers, and joints way worse. As a matter of fact, I've had a coughing fit every single time I've hit off this joint. But if this were a bong, I wouldn't have any problem with coughing. Anyway, you know what? I want to play real quick. I'm just gonna start playing this and see what it sounds like in the background. I'm gonna start. Hold, release. Now I'm not coughing. You know what? I'm digging this joint. This is, I think, the most fun I've ever had smoking a joint. Of course, again, this is still, and I've said this in the last episode, my 5th joint ever. But this is a premium pre-roll. Nice job done on it. And I'm starting to feel real groovy, so that's a great thing. And speaking of groovy, we have another hit. Y'all. Yeah, speaking of groovy, let me tell you about this great idea I have. And I do that podcast. Another word for podcast, but I like to call it podcast because I'm not just that cool. But anyway, the podcast on WSRadio.com known as The Wide World of Weed. Check that out. And It's Saturdays from 4 to 5. And this YouTube channel isn't... What am I doing? I'm playing something off YouTube right now, and that's kind of dumb.
That's hilarious, man. You're playing a freaking recording of yourself.
Exactly. Of me smoking another premium pre-roll. So there's like a psychedelic layered theme of getting high on premium pre-rolls. And how was that? Do you want another hit off, a couple or two off this?
Yeah, I'd love another hit off of that.
Okay, well, head on over.
Super high-flying weed.
I want to finish this joint off before this episode's over.
All right.
So I'm going to have another 2 or 3 while you're heading on over here. So, yeah, just put your headphones down and start moving in stereo. Yeah. Anyway, this is Green Weaver and having a blast here in the WS Radio studios, weed smoking studios, that is, and can have another hit. And I got to breathe through the towel.
What is this, your 40th hit today?
Something like that. Here's the joint. Here's a towel to breathe through. Here's a lighter. All right. That's Night Tripper in the background. He's going to hit up on that joint a couple times while I have a little liquid refreshment. Because I got a pretty bad case of dry mouth at the moment. Whew. Anyway.
This is already a good buzz.
Right on, man. I'm going to save these Wow Crisp, the other half of this bag, and the other half of this drink known as Malvadeer Mango, 125 milligrams of THC. I'm going to save that for...
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to get super hot.
Okay, well, then let me put that out. All right, man. I got to put this joint out, and I got to wrap this episode up. I'm sorry. Right. This is, of course, on YouTube. Not yet. It'll probably take a week or two for me to get these videos uploaded, but we're going to keep making this show more interesting and try to make it a lot more fun each and every week. And just going to try to add some original music here and there. Going to get some licensing set up so we can play some great music. And, of course, that goes back to the thing I talk about on occasion known as Groove 420. And I do want to mention that again because that's an important future concept and project that I want to put together with a friend of mine known as Davis Bowie. And anyway...
Yeah, he's part of your secret society of characters, right?
That's right, man. There's the real Sammy C. There's Green Weaver. Of course, that's me. There's Louis Lewis. There's
Stephen G. Reyes.
Yeah, that's right. There's Ricochet. There's Dirty Danny Minetti. There's all sorts of wicked characters in this world. And the house band is this cool kind of funky, groove-oriented stoner band known as Froggery Mellows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they're one of the greatest bands ever.
Their music melts away from today's overproduced, chunky rock.
You know it, man.
It's like more of a liquid sound.
That's right, man. And speaking of liquid, I think I got high about 2-3 hours ago, and on some edibles and some drinkables. And we're talking probably close to, I forgot what I said earlier, but at least 220-ish milligrams of THC just in the last couple hours. And I think I'm peaking right now, so I'm soaring so high that I even forgot what I was just talking about.
Yeah, right. The beginning of the sentence kind of contradicted the end of the sentence.
It probably did.
It probably wasn't even in the same ballpark.
It's like I changed my mind over the course of time.
Yeah. The sentence started out clear and colorful and ended up dark and mysterious.
Holy cow. Man, I don't think I'm going to hit any more today. And I'm glad you're driving.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm jamming, too, on this tune because, man, I'm telling you, man, I think I could write the first pot anthem. Next to Smoke Two Joints, that's already the first pot anthem.
Right. But you could have like a serious pot. You know, I know you don't love the song, even though he did a cool remake of it.
You're going to bring up this one thing because I got high, right?
Yeah, I know you don't hate the song, but you're also not... I think you find the message a little disconcerting or something.
Well,
like he goofballs up pot a little too much.
A little bit. He makes it seem like getting high is a big messed up thing. Like that's something you should be ashamed of and be ridiculed for, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Kind of like that song, even though I love it, that Dr. Hook song. What's that song called? When I Got Stoned, or when I got... I remember...
Yeah, I know what you mean, but it wasn't really one of their big hits.
No, but an awesome song, though. But it kind of paints like a semi-negative thing about how you're not going to have any memories if you get high all the time.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to be stoned your whole life, and you're not going to build any new memories. And I can see a little truth to that in a weird way.
Yeah.
You know, but if you balance it in your life properly, like a normal, intelligent person, there's no reason to worry about that kind of stuff.
And that takes us back to Joe Rogan, because he seems like a normal, intelligent person, sort of, but to the left of a normal, intelligent person. Normally, but then once in a while,
he gets lost.
The dude, somebody gets on his show, some author that is anti-pot, and so he just figures out a way to sound like he goes along with it. And I just wonder what percentage of the population is like that will just go along with some anti-pot moron who walks into the room.
Well, you know what? I would say anyone that doesn't truly believe in pot would be that kind of person. So it's almost like Joe Rogan doesn't truly believe. It's like he wants to, but...
I'm sure that dude was stoned during that show.
Maybe.
He brags about that kind of stuff. And so I think he was just trying to sound... You know how politicians try to sound a certain way, even if it doesn't even matter what they mean?
Right.
That's kind of what it was. Like he's a host now of a show with big name people. He's got presidential candidates on his show.
Wow.
So he's got to sound like he appeals to everyone now, like a mass appeal joker maybe is what he's trying to become. I don't know. But, you know, I think The Joker by Steve Miller Band, that song sums it up because... You know, a joker is someone who loves to joke, crack jokes, and make people laugh, right?
Right.
Pot makes you laugh,
yeah.
Man. So that's why the Joker is, you know, the star of the song, the Joker.
You know, I have a new character on my show whose name is Token Tony.
Really?
And Token Tony is a talking toucan. And why am I talking about that?
Because somehow...
you're talking about Token. Yeah, that's why. About the Joker being a song about being a toker.
Toker, yeah. Joker,
and that made me think
toker, I can see. And then Rogan almost rhymes with that. Roker.
Yeah, that's true. Almost.
Joe Rogan, man. Normally, I think that dude is super smart and socially conscious.
Right.
You know, but all of them... Some of my favorite super left-wing comedians always turn out to say something that bums me out, you know?
Right.
Like they suddenly step to the right for some reason. Like they suddenly defend Alex Jones for some reason.
You know, maybe the way we're talking right now, I dig this vibe. This should be a regular feature on the show. You know, just like have this regular segment where we talk politics.
Yeah, and just touch on the themes.
But talk about what we really believe in and how we think it should be a certain way. And either our listeners will agree with us or they won't.
Well, pot was meant to be part of the American culture.
Right.
It was embedded in our farming. You know, hemp was a major crop at one time in America, and so was pot. You know, so it was a legit medicine for many, many years.
Right.
Until other industries felt threatened by it. So we can never forget that big mistake that society made by falling asleep and letting the government just suddenly yank that away.
Yeah. But, man, our country's been through so many things they should have never gone through in the first place.
I know what
From
you mean.
civil rights to women's rights to every person's rights.
Of violations, that's
gay rights to... It's not going to change probably for another 100 years or more. There's always going to be some new person that's discriminated against for some bullshit reason.
Well, there's always going to be someone like Donald Trump. See, people think he's the first of his kind, like he's the first weird president. But we've had a bunch of weird presidents.
That's true. That's true. They haven't been as blatant, maybe, but yeah.
Nixon was a crook. People forget how bad he was. The LBJ got us into a freaking Vietnam War, which is all based on a lie.
What about Hoover?
Hoover led us into the Great Depression.
Yeah.
All these schnooky-type awful presidents. A bunch of them. There were more bad ones than good ones.
It's so true.
But we could still write songs about it and get society to sing along.
Well, let's do one now then.
All
Just
right.
make one up. What's this one going to be called?
Well, it should be pot-based, right?
It doesn't have to be, but that'd be cool if it were.
Okay, well, the key word will be weed, which rhymes with, name some words that rhyme with weed.
Deed,
Need.
seed, feed,
Greed,
plead,
seed. We said seed,
yeah.
right? So
Creed.
think of those words
Okay.
as we construct our verse called Utopian Weed. Utopian weed, utopian weed. Don't let it slip away. I want you to feed yourself with utopian weed. Never run out and never have a doubt that it will not make your party rock. Baby, you've got to tell me what you believe. Tell me what you believe. Do you believe in
weed?
Utopian weed.
I want to present a deed.
Utopian weed.
And I also want to erase all greed.
And plant a seed everywhere.
Including in Swede. Is that a place, man? I don't know. I do know a cool Swede who had to be freed because his car got keyed by a dude named Steed, and I don't know what else.
And the rest of the story is a bunch of bullshit. We can't even waste our time with it.
Okay, man, I'm definitely stoned.
Yeah, that was a fucked up train wreck song, man. Fuck, it was going somewhere good for a while. Excuse my fucking language, man, but I lost control.
No problem, man. How many minutes left? So we got about 5-6 minutes left.
Wow, time actually has raced on by.
Yeah, no kidding. It's been another fun episode of The Wide World of Weed. And, of course, we're also doing our YouTube channel, which this time is only going to be Green on the camera. But you're going to hear Knight and Green's conversation when we get the audio synced up later on in post-production. That's a wicked concept. I never thought I'd actually be doing post-production in the real world. But now I'm going to have to.
Yeah, man. So I like the direction the show's been going, man. We're into week 5, actually.
Right, and this is the loosest the show's been so far, and we still don't have any of those features in play yet. So that's in the next week or so. I gotta get those features written out on a clock, have some like a minor script written, and then the topic for that segment, and just try to have at least kind of storyboarded a little.
Yeah, man, you sound like a freaking program director. Someone who works in an office, man, stares at a computer all day.
I know I don't want to be that person, but if I want the show to be really good, I might have to do that. In fact, you know what? I'll try it a week or two and see if the show gets better. But maybe just being loose like this and getting high and just being goofy, maybe that's the essence of the show. You know,
I like the feel, the way it doesn't have to have rules, like the way
Right.
it just flows.
Yeah, and if there's a story that we know about, you know what? Here's a story. What's her name? She won Artist of the Year.
Really?
Cardi B.
Normally it's people like that I don't even care about.
Yeah, but the only reason I'm bringing her up is because she just won Best or the New Artist of the Year or whatever, and she was getting her award, and she was all nervous on national TV and shaking. Oh, I think I might have to start smoking weed.
Oh, my God.
But
she hasn't tried it yet. She's been in the music biz for at least a year, right?
Well, at least, right.
And she hasn't even tried it yet. She has all these fake number ones on the charts that you can buy your way to the top, and she still hasn't figured out weed yet.
I think she's full of it. She's lying.
Yeah, you gotta smoke weed to be part of the music biz.
Yeah.
That's always been a rule.
I mean, to be a serious part of it, you're right. I mean, I was in the /music radio biz for a while, and I never did, but I wasn't deep in it.
Yeah, but even Olivia Newton-John smokes weed.
Right. Well, she's lucky. I wish I had known about it. You know what? We don't. Oh yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool, man. Thanks for joining me as usual.
Yeah, it's been fun, man.
We'll be back again next Saturday with more fun here on the Wide World of Weed, and don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Also, it's the Wild World of Weed. This is Greenweaver
and Night Tripper.
Stay high, buddies, and we'll see you next time.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world without their smiles or their laughter? A world where children don't play or sing or dream or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we can't imagine a world without children. That's why we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children everywhere. Diseases like cancer, pediatric AIDS, and sickle cell. And we won't stop until every child is cured and every disease is defeated. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
You were born to do one amazing thing, but most people spend a lifetime trying to identify what it is. If you're in a job you don't like or are unemployed, if you're in a state of transition or just can't shake that nagging feeling that you were meant and made to do something extraordinary, then the Reinvention Workshop is exactly what you need. Led by award-winning self-help author Steve Olsher, the Reinvention Workshop will forever change your life. The Reinvention Workshop takes you step by step through Steve's proven formula that has helped so many people get on the right path and clear about what they were born to do. Take the first step to realizing the life you deserve and desire by visiting thereinventionworkshop.com today. No more delays. No more denial. Reconnect with your true self. Learn to live with purpose and conviction and become who you were born to be. The world is waiting for you. What are you waiting for? Log on to thereinventionworkshop.com today. That's thereinventionworkshop.com.